I'm a native Primos and I need them fast. Why, you ask? I need to summon Albedo on the Chronicle Wish banner coming out in 4.5. If you didn't know, I'm an Albedo main. My very first video on this channel is actually me summoning for his C1 almost a year and a half ago. So I've been waiting a while for his rerun. And get this, I'm doing this because I like his C2 aesthetic. I'll be wasting my time for 10 pixels at most just cause of the drip. With the new Chronicle Wish banner, I need 180 intertwined fates to make sure that Albedo comes home once again. Any less and I might as well be throwing fates away. Pity doesn't transfer to any of the other banners. So join me on this adventure of insanity as I pillage Teyvat for every single Primogen known to man in the span of 7 days until 4.5 drops. Yeah, by the time you're watching this, I'll have already wished on the banner, but for now, enjoy watching me suffer. Before we get any further, I'll show you what I'm working with. I'm feeling pretty optimistic, but I'll have to be very strategic in order to maximize my returns. I'll need to tackle any quests first since they'll take up a lot of time. I have way less quests to do compared to the last time I did that, but I feel like I'll still spend hours on them. Now, the offering systems are all over the place. I still have a few to complete, and I haven't even unlocked the Ranging Oblation, so I'm not betting on these. Most of the regions are close to completion, so I'll focus mainly on Sumeru, Fontaine, and Chenyu Vale. If I have extra time, then I'll go back to search every nook and cranny in the other regions. With that said and done, it's finally time to get on with the challenge. Okay, so technically I have 8 days to finish this challenge if we round up. So I'll count the actual day 1 as day 0. For these 2 days, I focus on exploring Chenyu Vale and doing the respective quests. Some of y'all might be surprised that yes, my exploration percentage is hovering around 25%. I am a massive procrastinator. With that said, I followed Fujin and did her quest to heal the region and did the quest that came afterwards. After a few quests, my original plan left me feeling overwhelmed, so I switched up my focus to farming chests and solving puzzles. Also, is it just me or do you guys feel like puzzles are easier to complete like months after they're first released? No, just me? I never bothered doing them because I always lacked the collective Genshin brain cell the day a new patch drops. But the puzzles were so easy to solve this time around. Maybe it's just information overload or maybe I'm just that dumb. I don't know. After a while, that left me brain dead too, so I visited Fontaine instead. I checked my progress at the Fountain of Lucine and the Statue of the Seven, and oh boy, do I still have a ways to go. Luckily, I didn't have too many quests left to do, so I could spend most of my time farming chests and finding those lost sigils. Exploring is almost always super chill, but I was starting to feel the fatigue weighing in, but anything for C2, I guess. The next few days are mostly exploration, so I'll be combining them together. There's just so much to discover in Fontaine, and that's just the surface. I forgot how huge some of the underwater sections were. I started off by finding the last of the Hydro Oculi, but it wasn't without suffering. You see, I typically mark where I've collected an Oculi, but due to the sheer amount of them, I was forced to clear their map pins and I missed a few. And that's with the use of the interactive map. Due to my mishap, the last 4 were found using the Resonance Stone. And to my dismay, Hoyo cockblocked us. I was in search of all of these Oculi with the hopes of opening another Shrine of Depth, but no. We have to wait for a whole nother region, so thanks a lot. Thank you so much, Hoyo. I wasted so much time organizing pins and searching for Oculi just to leave the statue at level 8.5 with no rewards in sight. So yeah, that was fun. Also, I thought you guys were exaggerating when you guys were talking about the local legends. Because do some of them have hands? Like, I know I'm trying to farm friendship, but goddamn, do some of them throw a punch? I literally had to look up some guides for the underwater ones, and the two humans in Northern Fontaine, Northwestern Fontaine, what the hell were those? What the hell was that? Going into day 4, I started my day like I usually do by doing commissions. Today, they took me to Sumeru, where I was met with several chests and puzzles and a lot of time trials for some reason. And then I kept roaming around and almost maxed out the surrounding area, which was kind of cool. It was also the first time I had ever made use of the Explore feature in the Adventures Handbook. I know a lot of you guys like to use it now that it came out, but a lot of the times I just like to get in and out and move on with the rest of my day. But it was a really nice change for once. I just end up staying in Sumeru for the rest of the day and just explored the forest parts and found a few juicy rewards along the way, so that was nice. At this point, it's becoming clear that things are just going to go downhill from here. I spent the past 2 days grinding it out and doing the best I could, and I only accumulated a grand total of 17 intertwined fates. But I am still breathing that good hopium, so I carry on. On day 5, I was limited in time, so I decided to finally upgrade the Lumenstone Adjuvant. I only need one more Lumen Spark to max it out, so it was gonna be easy. Only, I realized that after leveling up the stone, I wasn't awarded Primos or Fates at all. At least I got an achievement and some Primos from a precious chest, right?
Things come to those who wait.
But it made me realize just how much I still had left to explore in the chasm, despite both maps being almost cleared. Like, how have I explored 95% in the underground mines and still need to find 16 more chests to max out my achievements? Anyways, I spent most of my time doing that. The underground mines were kind of hard to max since you can't use the treasure compass at the same time as the Lumenstone. On the other hand, the top layer of the chasm was super easy to clear because of these. I must have had room temp IQ in version 2.7 because these puzzles were stupid easy to do. I don't know why I thought they were so hard. Literally all of them were intact except for maybe like 3. Honestly, 5 out of 5 for my past stupidity because it really came in clutch during this challenge. So on day 6, I originally only had a few hours to do everything, but I sprained my ankle really bad at the end of day 5. Like, the snap, crackle, pops were super crunchy, so I had to clear my schedule to allow my ankle to heal. Don't worry, I can assure you that I'm absolutely fine. But hey, at least I was able to get some time in to farm more Primos, right? No. I ended up having even less time to work because I couldn't sit at my desk for extended periods of time. Looking back, I could have given myself way more time by playing on my phone instead of forcing myself to play on my PC. Anyways, by day 5, I had to be picky about what I could farm, so I decided to speedrun my final quest, max out the Range 8 Oblation, and do as many achievements as I could. The quests were speedrun, like I was skipping scenes left and right. What happened, who knows, it was a blur. I am living up to the name of Genshin players, illiterate. Range 8 Oblation, upgraded to level 5. Did I waste time running around looking for Spirit Carp because I don't know where they were because I didn't mark them down? Let's ignore that. However, the achievements were kind of a struggle. You see, at this point I had just over 900 achievements out of the 1,194. The ones I still need to do are either time gated, need exploration that wouldn't be optimal this late into the challenge, or are under Wonders of the World, which would take forever to look up, let alone complete. So I say screw it and go ahead and explore Chenyu Vale for the rest of the day. At the end of this day, I had a total of 80 intertwined fates. It was fairly obvious that in no way, shape, or form would I be able to get to the 180 benchmark. Hell, with 17 hours left, I could maybe muster up the time to get 10 more intertwined fates, just to make sure I get at least one 5-star, if all else fails. It's day 7, and with around 5 hours left before maintenance, I make my final game plan. I'll get 2 intertwined fates by leveling the Range 8 to level 7. There's also 200 Primogems waiting for me if I max out the Amrita pool. Will I max out the Tree of Dreams? Probably not. It might be a bit of a stretch, but I can sure try. What actually happened was completely different to what I had in mind. I did my dailies, and to my surprise, I was finally able to complete one of the Leeway daily commissions. Cliffhanger. After 3 years of not being able to do so, I was finally able to talk to Gentry Mousei and get my achievement, which led me to try to finish up some achievements, but then I realized what I had discovered a few days ago already. I don't have time. So it was time to grind. I stuck to my original plan and went around farming the last 9 carp I needed to get my 2 intertwined fates, which was kind of a pain, considering that I hadn't bothered to mark down any of the ones that I collected, but I got it done within an hour, which was great. Next up was the Amrita pool. I need 7 more plumes to max it, but like in the case of the Spirit Carp, I didn't mark which ones I already got. So I set off in search of them, and luckily for me, as soon as I found one, I went over to gather my promised Primogems and discovered that there indeed is a god. The game marked down the ones I still needed, which was an absolute blessing, so I collected my 200 Primos and passed go. I still had a few royal quests to do, so I finished those, and surprisingly I found another one while farming the plumes, which was great. Now with Xiao having left to lament, sitting in my inventory were 96 intertwined fates. At this point, I'm scrambling and struggling on what I should prioritize next. Exploration and achievements were already out of the question, and how much time do I have left anyways? An hour? Maybe 2? I couldn't go ahead and do the story quests I slacked on doing earlier. One alone would probably take me to the last minute for 60 measly Primogems. And I was not gonna sit through TCG, I'm sorry. Nor was I gonna waste time on potentially getting my last 50 Primos from the Abyss. Nah. And then I remembered. Hangout quests. They're a bit long, but I was committed on speedrunning them. They were my light at the end of this week-long journey to get my 180 turn 90 intertwined fates. I was gonna make it, only I made a grave mistake. I picked Kave's hangout. Now, I love Kave as a character. His story is, and I relate to him so much. My grave mistake was being too invested in his character story. Well, to be fair, I did finish 2 hangout endings, but that also means I only got 20 Primogems. Yeah, I should have just done the story quest. And I really mean that it took me to the last second. I was logged in until the very last minute. I severely underestimated how long this would take me and how little time I could actually spare. After all, I gotta do adult things like pay rent. So, what did I gain from this? Considering how much time and effort I put into this challenge, I came out of this nightmare with 36 intertwined fates and 89 Primogems, for a total of 87 fates and 21 Primos. So yeah, my ROI is abysmal at 4.5 intertwined fates and some Primos per day. But at least I got C2 Albedo, and let me tell you that my neurons were activated after seeing how it looks. Like, hell yeah. But I'm actually also really cooked from this, y'all. Like, my brain is fried from all of the reading and my eyes are dry as hell. So yeah, after this video, I'm gonna take another farming break and I'll be back in like 6 months to suffer once new content comes out and do this again for the next character.
Are you sure about that?
On second thought, I might have to go back into the trenches with a fine-tooth comb before 4.6, just to make sure every single Primogem is truly gone. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!